Welcome to the Elite Real Estate Agents of SEQ podcast, where I sit down with some of the most successful and respected real estate agents working right here in one of Australia's most beautiful and sought-after regions, Southeast Queensland. This podcast gives you a genuine, behind-the-scenes look at who these agents are as people, what makes them stand out in the industry, and most importantly, can help you decide if they're the right fit to guide your property journey. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. You might just be listening to the perfect person to sell your property. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Elite Real Estate Agents of SEQ. Now, I'm in the studio today with Jodi Russell from Harcourts Property Hub. She's a highly experienced Gold Coast agent with well over 20 years experience in the industry, specialising in the Mudgeeraba region, that 4213 corridor, and even into the hinterland. Jodi is a Harcourts girl and has been recognised in the Harcourts network at a national awards level, and she's built a reputation around calm guidance, straight advice, and genuine client-first approach. Jodi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Adam, for having me here this afternoon.
Okay, so
Yes.
you're not originally from Australia. You started as you were from New Zealand.
Yes, I am. I'm a Kiwi.
You're a Kiwi?
I am, along with all the other Gold Coasters that are Kiwis.
Yeah, but you came over well before the big influx,
Well,
didn't you?
yes. Mum and Dad made that move from Auckland to the Gold Coast back in 1980.
Yep.
So it was a while ago now when you talk about numbers. And but it was obviously for me very exciting at the time, and I was moving to the Gold Coast, Australia. And we landed, came down to the Gold Coast, and of course Dad needed to find somewhere to live. And lo and behold, the first rental that he gets is in Bertana Drive, Mudgeeraba. So I've kind of always been a 4213 based person since I landed in Australia. And, Mum and Dad always stayed in that area, acreage and residential. My husband and I, fast forward 20 years on from there, we also had acreage out that way. So, yeah, fantastic. We've just always been Central Gold Coast.
And you're still selling there now. Have you ever sold a property on that street?
Yes, I have.
You have?
I have. I've sold a few on that street.
A few?
Yes.
In the same street you landed at in 1980.
I know, which is pretty amazing.
I think we can call you a local.
Thank you.
So what about, all right, you've landed at 15,
Yes.
you've lobbed into Mudgeeraba. I'm guessing it's paddocks at about that time.
It is. All my friends lived in Broad Beach, Mermaid Beach, Palm Beach, and they had no idea where I lived.
Yep.
And, it was a mum and dad thing that we'd have, dinner at the Wallaby on a Friday night and watch the storms roll in,
Yep.
Which was spectacular back then, of course,
Yep.
looking across all the cow paddocks.
Yep. You can't do that from the Wallaby these days.
No, you can't.
But it's still there.
It is still there,
Yep.
and it's an iconic part of Mudgeeraba. And the infrastructure now that supports that community is superb, and I think it's one of those little golden suburbs of the Gold Coast that, it doesn't matter really what demographic, whether it's young families, whether you're retired. It ticks every box, and it offers a lot of wonderful infrastructure and support through that.
You can get
space.
north, you can get south, you can come straight into the beach. It's just
superb.
one of those that I think the people along the coastline don't realise just how convenient that actually is.
Yeah,
So,
and now you have Robina just across the M1, 5 minutes away. The town centre, the hospital, the train. Everything is there. You've got Seabus Stadium. But I think when you hit that other side of the highway, it's kind of like you breathe this fresh air, and it's just a different feeling.
It is. Once you cross that highway, isn't it? A very different feeling. It's like
beautiful.
you're out of the hustle and bustle.
Correct.
and into the the lifestyle area of the.
That's
it
right.
feels hinterlandish.
It does
doesn't
feel
it?
hinterland, and I think we're spoilt for choice. Like, we're on the Gold Coast. We've got beaches that are just world's best, and we've got national parks and Springbrook and the most gorgeous nature space. Just another 20 minutes in the other direction. So we are very spoilt for choice, and it makes for a wonderful place to live and grow up and have children and have a family grow up there.
Sure. So after school, was off to uni?
Yes. I had uni in Brisbane at Queensland Uni. I was up there for 3 years, and then when I graduated, that was back when Jupiter's Casino was coming online.
Right.
And so I was in the opening team. Gosh, I think that's now like 40 years ago. We're getting too close to age now.
Wow.
But that was fun, and that was a very exciting experience. You know, even that time on the Gold Coast when that was all happening, you know, that was an amazing buzz having that casino open here. And Conrad,
I can imagine such a huge business and building and everything else.
And it was an exciting time for the Gold Coast, and I was part of the casino marketing team.
Okay.
And we, I guess, had to start thinking about, once we'd been in that space for about a year or two, customer loyalty programs and things like that keep, you know, repeat and referral customer. No difference, I guess, real estate, any business.
So you started that referral program?
Yeah, the casino rewards program.
It's still going. My son turned 18
yes.
Only a few months ago, and he's telling me all about the rewards program that he's joined, the loyalty, and the points he gets a spin of the wheel or something when he goes in.
So it was amazing.
Loves it.
Back then, I'd get to choose cars and holidays and different things that would be part of their promotions for, you know, different months of the year, and, you know, all these different events. Gold Coast Indy was one of the best, and we had the box above the pits, and we had the grandstand at the end of pit lane, and Indy was always such a fun time that we would organise that and invite all our customers and our loyal clients to come along and have those 4 days of Indy on the Gold Coast. So there was a lot of great experiences and a great team. And Conrad Jupiters were, I guess the Hilton Group were great to work for, and always, I guess, very supportive. I went through with a handful of people to open up the Treasury Casino in Brisbane.
Right.
When that was coming on board, and that was, of course, another exciting time for Brisbane when they were getting their first casino.
I didn't realise we had Jupiters before Treasury.
Yeah, all owned by Conrad Hilton. And so part of that opening team was establishing those departments up there and making sure that, you know, come showtime and when it was all open, everything was perfect. But yeah, that was a fantastic time, and I loved it.
Learned a lot, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, marketing, I think, is the backbone of every business.
Yep.
And not just in real estate, but it's literally in every business, isn't it? Retail, whatever you do. And so, yeah, you just learn, I guess, some basics that just tick in every box. It doesn't matter what industry you're in.
Yep. So when did the pivot come to going into real estate?
It came with children.
Yep.
So my husband and I have 3 kids, and we moved to the Gold Coast from Brisbane in 2000. And then I think my son would have been about 2 or 2.5 when I did my full real estate license.
Right.
I decided that was the industry. We'd done a lot of house, flipping and renos, and he's a builder by trade, my hubby.
Yep.
And so that was a very familiar space, and I guess I had a lot of knowledge in that space as well. So I guess, it just seemed right to maybe try real estate as an option.
Okay.
So I got started, got my full license straight up, and just thought, well, let's see how this goes.
Okay. Where did the journey begin?
Well, back then, there was a Harcourts office at Carrara. We lived in Carrara on Main River, and it was 5 minutes from home. So I, went in there with a resume and said I just got my license, and they gave me a job, which was wonderful. So I got my desk, my chair, and my phone. And
that's what it was in those
that was
days,
it.
Wasn't it?
You drove your farm area every morning. I had Boonaroo Park, and had to learn every street, of course, and you knew everybody, and you knocked on doors and the white pages, and you rang everyone. And I learnt what I needed to do while I was at Harcourts Carrara. It was wonderful.
And there's a bit to talk about in between, but you're still at Harcourts now.
Yes,
and
I am.
so you started that day, and you've never left.
I've never left the brand.
No,
I've never left the brand. I loved the culture and the support I got from being in that group at that time. And then I had my kids obviously all then just starting school, and one of the mums at school, her and I were getting a bit excited, and we thought we could open our own office. And we were like, should we do this? And there was Bell Central Shopping Centre in Mudgeeraba was just getting built at the time where Coles is now. And we thought, okay. And so I approached Harcourts head office to ask for the franchise for 4213.
Yep.
And they said yes. So we rented some space at Bell Central and opened our office, which was very exciting. It was just myself and a couple of other people.
Yep.
And but yeah, I had Harcourts Mudgeeraba, a couple of changes and wonderful people that were, also worked with me during that time.
Yep.
But 18 years was the
Wow.
timeline I had for that office.
And then you sold?
We sold it.
Yep.
Yeah, so we sold it in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
and which was great. Was just timing for everything. I'm
Yep.
now an empty nester, so the kids have up and gone, of course.
Okay. Are they still local?
They're all two are local to Brisbane.
Yep.
My oldest daughter and my youngest son are in Brisbane. And then I have a son who's studying in the United States. He's at the University of Massachusetts.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
doing his PhD over there.
Yeah. In what?
He's doing computer science, AI.
I
Yes.
think he's going to go okay.
I think he'll be fine.
Yes. What a field to be going
He'll be
into.
fine. So it's been a wonderful
How
experience.
long's he been
for
over
him.
there?
It was 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so he did the Masters and the PhD.
Is he still there now?
He has, 6 months to go. He'll
Have you
finish
been
June,
over in
July.
that time?
I've been across to the States a few times, but we're going to make sure we go when he finishes in July.
Is he coming back?
Maybe. Maybe.
Watch this space.
Yeah, watch this space. I
Okay.
think he's
I was
got a
gonna
lot of opportunities on the horizon, and
Yep.
so
I was
depends
thinking
how they play
it's
out.
a long time to go over for, and that so
yeah, so I
interesting.
think potentially, but we'll see what happens then.
Okay, so you've started at Harcourts Carrara.
Yes.
You've established Harcourts Mudgeeraba. You've
Yes.
sold Harcourts Mudgeeraba.
Yes,
You're now back selling.
Harcourts Property Hub.
Yes.
Yes.
What is it about the brand that you obviously love?
Oh my gosh, they've just been amazing. I don't think it matters whether you're the principal, the business owner, one of the agents, property management. I think the culture across the group is very unified, and I think you've just got to be in it to know. But yeah, I guess they've always been, people first, doing the right thing, fun and laughter, be courageous is their motto.
Yep.
And they do all of the above,
Yep.
Within the group. And I think even the teams that you work with are kind of all in that space. And they have their own academy. All the training and the support that you need has always been there, whether you're as an agent or a property management or as a business owner, running your own franchise and business. So, yeah, I've just always loved the brand. And then, when we sold Harcourts Mudgeeraba, it was just a brand I wanted to stay with. So hence Harcourts Property Hub, Robina.
Yep, and Robina, but you're still selling in Mudgeeraba.
Of course. Yes,
Yep.
I am. It's like 5 minutes from there.
Well, look, it's something I don't think I've mentioned on any of my other podcasts yet, but all of my guests come highly recommended from community Facebook
okay.
groups, and
Yes.
as you did. So
Thank you.
you're obviously doing something right. It was the
Yep.
Mudgeeraba community group page there, and got quite a few.
Thank you.
Quite a few mentions in there, which is why I did reach out.
Yes.
What is your sales style?
The approach I guess I've always taken is that it's a privilege to be able to have an opportunity to work with someone who's looking at selling their property. It's a big decision. I'm sure they interview a lot of different agents, and I think it will just come down to potentially, the way that your relationship and you work, I guess how you present yourself to them, that they can find some sort of common ground, that they feel comfortable with the process and everything that you've explained, and that they feel that I would like them to think that they're part of a partnership rather than of course I'm there to do a job.
Yep.
Like every other agent's there to do a job, and we can all do a very similar job.
Yep.
But everyone's journey kind of is different. I think that's the biggest thing I'd like to know is where they're coming from, where they're at and where they're going to, so that I can facilitate that for them with as, I guess, the least stress possible, but also to give them a wonderful outcome that they can feel, very happy with how they've, I guess, cashed out of this asset and it's set them up for their next chapter.
Sure.
Because a lot of them, it's in that demographic, a lot of them it's either upsizing or downsizing, but staying within the same postcode. Because you're getting young families that want to upsize from residential into acreage, or you're getting the reverse where people have lived on their acreage for 30 years and now they don't want to leave the area.
Yep.
But they're at an age that they can't manage the land or the acreage anymore as well.
Sure.
So they're just looking for that transition, but still love 4213.
Yep.
So they don't want to leave.
Yep.
They just have to, upsize or downsize. So it's just being part of that journey with them and holding their hand and making sure that everything works smoothly and that they know and understand the process from the beginning to the end, so that I think like anything, isn't it? It's, that knowledge gives you some kind of satisfaction or less stress.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can I throw you a curly question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You mentioned that, potential sellers will often meet with a number of potential agents.
Yes.
What would some say agents do in a listing meeting that might be considered BS?
Adam. Well, what could they do? They could probably do a lot of things, but I think that, I don't know, potentially over-promising a result that's not necessarily out there.
Sure. So promising, giving the expectation that maybe you can get a higher price than they know in their heart of hearts.
That's
that
really
it might
never going
be.
to turn up.
Sure. Well, in the industry, that's called buying a listing, isn't it?
Yeah, potentially that could be, yes, what they could do. But I think if you've got enough evidence and you've got enough recent evidence of transactions that are showing where the market is lying, then you don't really have that hesitation from the seller. They can understand, nothing is ever the same.
No.
Like no home is ever the same, no acreage is ever the same. We call it comparable sales, but they're not the same.
While we're talking about that, have you ever been meeting with a potential client and they've had an expectation that is, let's call it highly unlikely. Let's say there's no chance in hell.
Yes.
Where you've then explained, you've shown them the data, but they're just dead set. How would you handle, have you had that situation and how did you handle it?
I have had that situation, but I guess for me, my focus is not around price when I'm talking to people. I mean, it's very important for an owner to get an idea of where their house should sit. But I think they can do that on their own. I can almost, guarantee that they've already been on the sold section of realestate.com before I turned up.
Sure.
And they've already got a fairly good idea of what the neighbour sold for or what 5 doors down the road sold for. And they've already looked at other properties that potentially they've walked through other open homes that are similar to theirs to get a bit of a guide. So I don't think any seller has ever been naive enough to understand.
It's much easier now, isn't it, with that amount of data available?
Yes, yeah. I think, it's sold section of REA or jumping in a car and going through a few open homes that are similar to your own. So I don't think, sellers are savvy. They understand. But it's like, we're instinctive, aren't we? We're human and we always want the most we can for our assets. That's what everyone is very proud of their own home and they all want to know that they can get the best price for it. So for me, I think my focus has always been around, the right presentation, the right marketing and the process. And as long as we tick all of that, that'll turn up.
Sure.
So it's just letting them understand what that involves.
Sure.
And let that take care of itself.
Love that. Do you have a favourite sale? Do you have a deal that stands out in your mind over your 20 plus years that you remember and think, did you pull a deal out of the fire one day?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. There's been a few auction properties that you just think, wow, you never thought that would happen. And it did. I guess we've done a number of auctions over the years and private, priced properties. It's really up to the owner with the process that they feel most comfortable with. But, I've been at an auction, calling the auction with absolutely no one registered, knowing prior to that there's no one that I think is going to turn up to buy it. And I can remember selling this property and we're there on auction day and everyone's turned up and the crowds are turned up and this guy has cycled on his bike and jumped off his bike and he's in all his cycle gear.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, oh, this is game. Like,
Yep.
and he's walked in, he's open, come through the open home prior to the auction. And he's like, oh, can I use the bathroom? And I was like, sure, no problem,
Yep.
just down the hallway. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And it's about 5 minutes before we're getting underway. And he comes back outside to where we had the registration for all the auction. And he's like, he throws his license down and says he wants to register to bid. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. So we filled out all his bidding regration and everything.
Had you seen him at any of the opens?
Never had come to the open homes.
Wow.
Never. First time, wandered in. And no joke, he bought that house that day. And I just thought, you can never cancel an auction because you never know what's going to happen.
You've probably wanted to on times
On
like that.
times like that,
This
where
is going to be embarrassing for
you've
all
told the seller
involved.
that there's no one registered, showing interest at this point in time, but you just, you still run with it. And that guy bought it. And afterwards, when we realised he actually owned a property like 2 doors up, and he was buying another investment property, and he wanted it in the same street. So he never needed to look at it until the day. But how would you know that? So that was random. The fact that he came in on his bike in his biking gear, like he'd just done a 40K ride or something.
Was the ask to go to the bathroom, was that his way of, I just need to get a quick look around?
No, yeah, maybe. Who knows? But you can never cancel.
No.
So that was a random experience, but I still remember that. But, yeah, you just don't know. You only need one buyer for every property.
No, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Have you got a listing that, might have not gone to plan?
That didn't go to plan.
That didn't go to plan?
Oh, there's always some that don't go to plan.
Yep.
Yeah, there's always properties that don't go to plan.
What's your biggest real estate disaster story you can give me?
I think I'm pretty good at making sure I dot the I and cross the T
Yep.
so I don't end up there. But, yeah, no major disasters.
All right. What's the biggest deal killer you see in negotiations?
The biggest deal killer in negotiation.
From either a buyer or a seller?
I think in negotiation, obviously I love it when I know someone's in that position now that they're ready to make an offer. I think that...
Would it be making a lowball offer, knowing you want to buy it, but throwing that out there and maybe upsetting the
I kind
seller?
of get that. I avoid that though.
You do?
I think I have a lot of conversation with my buyers in the process of putting forward their offer. So I'm not going to take an offer that's a lowball to my seller.
Right.
I think a buyer also understands that they need to be at a certain price point. When you've had enough conversation with them and you know their background, I think that's part of it as well. I love to get to know the buyer and where they're at in their journey. I love to know, have they been looking for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? Have they missed out on 2, 3, 5 properties?
Sure.
You know their passion and their urgency to actually get the property then.
Yep.
And I think once you understand what it is that's drawing them to the one that you're selling, you can use that a lot in negotiation. And it's very respectful then. I think they understand if I'm asking them, they always, they want to put something in if it's low ball. And if I'm going back to them saying, look, unfortunately at that level, it's not going to get you across the line and you're better off to start off with something higher.
Yeah, it's probably only going to do harm
to respect the owner and their property and understand that, you obviously love it. So let's talk about something at a different level. And I think if I can manage that process well enough, we start the negotiation off on a really good foot, and then it makes it a very easier conversation. And, you tend to get it underway a lot easier. And, everyone in the end, I think, obviously reach an agreement because the property gets sold. But it's important to be able to start it on the right foot.
Yep.
And when you do that and you have those, I guess, a bit more of a difficult conversation with the buyer to actually bring them into a reality when you really know they want it.
Yep.
You can actually then have a really nice conversation around and I think they respect you in the end.
Yep.
That they understand that that's where they need to be to buy it, and it comes together quite nicely.
Sure.
But yeah, I haven't had too many disasters in that space, but you do have to sometimes just let people know that it's never going to buy it at that level.
Yep.
And we need to talk about what is it
Yep.
about the property that you love the most
Sure.
and why are you seeing it there. Yeah.
Now, here's a question I haven't asked anyone else on this podcast, but being that you've been entrenched in the Mudgeeraba area for so long, can you think of a client that you've had and how many times you would have had repeat business from one client, whether that be to buy and or sell?
Yes.
So you would have maybe sold 5 properties for them and bought 3 for them.
Yes. I think what happens most, I guess, for me, you might have sold, because they stay in the area for such a long
Well,
time.
this is what I'm getting at.
So
yeah.
you do get probably 2 or maybe 3.
Yep.
Because if they're going downsize and then, from acreage to res, then they're going to stay there for another 10 or 15 years. But I think the most would be that they then refer me to other clients.
Sure.
Yeah, so they've had a great experience.
Yep.
I think that's where you bring value to the process that may be exceptional, or different to others, is that client experience is so important, and that does lead to that repeat and referral business. But most of them stay in their homes for such a long time. It's normally their friends that they're referring you to, and they're part of other little groups in the community. So, the next thing, you sold so-and-so's house, can you come and have a chat to us? And so it's lovely, and it's, you're always very grateful for that. But, yeah, I think that's probably been the biggest thing, is just that you do get to see very familiar faces. You're in Woolies, you're doing your shopping, and you're bumping into people that you've, bought and sold properties for, or they've bought and sold, which I love. And I think that's part of being in that community, whether you're in the shopping centre and you're having a coffee or a pie, or you're just doing your groceries, that you do bump into people you usually have had some transaction with.
Sure.
But that's great. That's what a community is.
Absolutely. All right. Can I jump into my quick fire round with you?
Yes, of course.
All right. What's the most random thing you've seen someone do at an open home?
Most random. Random thing that they do in an open home. Other than use the toilet.
Funniest, quirkiest?
Funniest, quirkiest thing. Walk off with someone else's shoes.
Really?
Put the wrong shoes on and then
Oh.
realise. So sometimes that happens when there's a lot of shoes at the front door. But that would be, not too many random things at open
Then
homes.
you'd have
Adam.
someone going to leave and there being no shoes there for them. So
Yeah.
that would be interesting. All right. What's the biggest myth about real estate agents?
The biggest myth about agents. We're good people. I think we're good people. I think people think real estate agents, can you trust them?
Are shysters.
Yeah, can you trust them?
Yeah.
Of course you can. I think at the end of the day, yes, we're real people, and we're just trying to, at the end of the day, you just want to do the best you can for your
All
client.
right. Do you have an agent pet peeve, something that drives you nuts?
An agent pet peeve. Personally, that drives me nuts.
Hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
These aren't meant to be easy questions.
No, they're not easy. For me, the pet peeve would be that when you turn up to the open, you're doing the open house.
Yep.
You always want to have the toilet seats down.
Right, and they leave
So
them
if
up.
they leave them up, I'm always the one kicking it down with my foot.
Right. Fair enough. What is the most awkward thing a seller has left out during a inspection?
Oh, that's funny. Usually somebody's in the bed.
Right.
Someone might be asleep in the bedroom behind the door,
Really?
and they've just left them there and they've gone, but they haven't told you that
There's
their
someone
child
in there.
is still asleep in
Oh
the
my-
back bedroom.
Really?
I've had that before.
Wow.
And then you get in there and you're just like, and it's an open home, and then you're all of a sudden telling everyone, just don't worry about that back bedroom. Someone's just sleeping in there.
Right.
It's a bit random.
What's one thing buyers do that always makes you laugh?
One things that buyers do that make you laugh. One thing that buyers do that make you laugh.
Or sellers?
I think I think it's quite funny sometimes, I guess. Well, I guess it's more though when you're doing feedback. I think what buyers just have to give you, it doesn't make me laugh. I guess it's just a reality.
Yep.
You have to have a reason why you don't like the house.
Yep.
So when you're doing all your feedback and your calls and things like that to find out whether they're interested or not
Yep.
in the property, the funniest thing is that they tell you everything that's wrong with it because
Right.
they don't want to buy it anyway.
Right.
It's just like, just say you don't want to buy
Yeah,
it.
let's not waste each other's time here.
I get it. It's okay. If it's
Do they
not
feel-
for you,
do
it's
they-
not for
do
you.
they feel
I think
like
people
they-
just have to give you a reason.
Okay, they feel like they have to justify why they don't want to buy it.
Yeah, they just have to reason
Wow.
why it's not for them.
Okay.
Which is fine. It's quite funny. I find
Yep.
that quite funny.
That is funny when you think
Yeah.
about it. Why not just say, no, I'm
But
not.
it wasn't for me.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. One word to describe your negotiation style.
My negotiation style would be one word. I don't know, I'd have to probably say direct.
Direct?
Yeah.
I like it. I
I'd
like
have to
it.
be direct. Like, I just need, like, as in just be real.
Fair
Be
call.
truthful, be honest. Just be direct with me and let me. And so then you know what you need to do to be able to facilitate that negotiation.
Fair call. Now, everyone finds this question a little bit difficult.
Okay.
So, warning. I don't know whether you've listened to my podcast before.
No.
But if your career
Yes.
was a TV show or a movie,
Yes.
what would the title be?
TV show or a movie? My career, my goodness. Well, it's been long and it started a while ago. But I have had a lot of fun in my career. Let's stick with something like Happy Days.
Ah, Fonzie.
Yes, that's me.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Fantastic. All right, final two questions before we wrap up. What's your top tip for homeowners when selling in Mudgeeraba?
Top tip? The top tip would be to presentation is key. And it's worth putting some effort into that to get your top dollar. You definitely need to present well and marketing and goes along with that, of course, but that'll bring the people to the property. But the presentation, make it smell good.
Make it smell good.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, final question. If someone's out there listening to this podcast or watching
Yes.
and they're considering using you as their agent,
Yes.
what would you say to them? You can look right down there and tell them.
Okay. What would I say? I would say that it would be an absolute privilege. Give me a call. Let's have a coffee and just chat through where you're at and where you'd like to be. And more than anything, I'd want that experience, like you to have a fabulous experience. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is just choosing the right agent, for sure, and making sure that you feel that they're the right person for you.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, hopefully that's me.
Fantastic. Jodi Russell, thank you so much for
Thanks,
joining me
Adam.
on the Elite Real Estate Agents of Southeast Queensland podcast. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode, if you'd like to get in touch with Jodi, if you're thinking of selling, whether it be Mudgeeraba or anywhere else, Jodi's details are in the show notes. They're in the description. Jump in there and get in touch. Thanks once again for joining us on the show. It's you guys that we do this for so that you can see the agents behind the sales signs, behind that sales pitch, and get to meet them as real people, which they actually are, believe it or not. So, look, please do hit like, do give us a follow. This helps us get the podcast out there to more and more people. But thanks once again, Jodi, and I look forward to seeing.
It's been a privilege. Thank you.
You're welcome, and see everyone on the next episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of Elite Real Estate Agents of SEQ. If today's guest sounded like the right agent to help with your next move, please reach out. You'll find all their details in the show notes and episode description. And if you're a real estate agent interested in being showcased on the podcast, visit www.podproaustralia.com.au to learn more and register your interest. If you enjoyed the podcast, we'd love it if you could like, share and rate the podcast, and let us know in the comments if there's an agent you've dealt with and you think they should be featured next. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.